Hello and welcome to another episode on the Everyday Joy podcast. I'm your host, Joy Ravella. You are in for such a treat all of this week. We're doing something a little different. Now, a few days ago, I was saying that we've ticked over the 50 episode milestone, which is pretty huge. So I thought this week we could pause, reflect, and unpack some of the more powerful moments on the Everyday Joy podcast. So I've gone back through the archives. I've picked out the 5 episodes that I've received the most feedback on. And all this week, I'll be diving deeper into the top 5 episodes on the Everyday Joy podcast with a brand new guest. I've got the amazing MJ Want here in studio with me. MJ, I'm so pumped to have you as a first-time guest on this podcast.
Thank you. No, it's a pleasure to be here.
It's not the first time, though, that we've had deep conversations.
We've had a couple in our life, that's for sure.
Just a couple. One of my favourite things to do with you is unpacking all sorts of different things, and I'm really grateful to have you all throughout this week unpacking some of the most powerful moments on the podcast. Shortly, I'll play a short clip from the first episode, actually, that Joe Chapman did. It's titled A Fresh Perspective, focusing on Isaiah 40, verse 31. And in this episode, Joe shared honestly about the struggles her daughter faces and how she often has to choose to look at the situation through God's eyes. Do make sure you go back and listen to the full episode, but I'll play a little clip here for you now.
Because from 15 to now in my 50s, I understand if you give space, if you give time, if you trust God, when you really pull away, it's like looking at a tiny dot, and that tiny dot is part of a bigger picture.
Yeah.
You see that God's orchestrating things for my daughter. God has got things that I don't see. The perspective, the rising above, the trusting God brings things into her life and my life that I never would if I flapped like a little pigeon in the craziness of my own perspective. God's got bigger plans if we step aside and look from a bigger God perspective.
And that's a little bit of episode 1, MJ. Why do you think this conversation struck such a chord with the listeners?
I think, honestly, whether we've been on a faith journey for a very short period of time or a long period of time, we have all had these moments where we want to be shouting at the sky saying, why God, at a certain circumstance or scenario we found ourselves in, whether we put ourselves there or just life happened to us. And we ask the question of, God, why is this happening to me? What is going wrong here? And what Joe was so beautifully able to share about the challenges as a parent she's faced in a specific situation was that great reminder for us that everything is but a moment, and that in that moment, we can choose to see things from our perspective, others' perspectives, and sometimes miss the God lens. And she so beautifully connected those elements for us that it's good to understand how we see things, to empathise with others, how they're viewing things, but ultimately, as best we can, get God's perspective on scenarios. And I think that's what really resonated.
Yeah, me too. I think, sometimes we all do get stuck in a situation, and you can be so deeply stuck in it, you need that external reminder to say, when was the last time you checked in with God about this? When was the last time you prayed about something more than worried about it? And I think that's one of the reasons why this episode's just been such a strong moment, because we've all been there. We've all had that sudden moment of, oh my goodness, I actually need to give this back to God because I'm not God at the end of the day. Has this ever happened to you in some way, MJ?
Is every day a wrong thing to say? Like most days as a employee, as a husband, as a father, as a friend, there are moments where that hoping in the Lord, kind of you can turn it into these vague, please Jesus, like Hail Mary from a half basketball shot kind of thing at the court, going, please let this work. And that's not what hoping in the Lord kind of looks like. Rather, it's this anticipation, and this expectation is rather what the verse is more talking about. So I think all of us every day, and certainly for me every day in those roles of life, is much more about this expectation and anticipation that as I put my hope in God, in who He is and how He cares, provides, and challenges me as a person, as a follower, is that I do those things. My strength is no longer the thing that's going to carry me through. How well rested I am, how caffeinated I am, what my bank balance is, how relationally at ease I feel with people will determine my countenance or my posture of the day, but rather it's as I anticipate in God and I do that, it's in Him that those places come. So every day feels like it's an exaggeration, but as I get older and as my kids get older and as I deeper in relationship in life with so many different people, I realize that, man, I need that every day for it to happen.
Absolutely. I 100% agree. It's this everyday top up of going back to God. I know that I've had a period recently where I've had to kind of go in for seconds and thirds.
It's like a buffet. It's fine. Go back for a third or fourth.
And we go through periods and situations where we need more of that strength every day. And it feels almost silly for me to talk about this, but I've got to peel back the layers a little bit. So I got married just over 6 months ago, and we always knew when we got married the commute would be an issue. So Ari, my husband, he leaves quite early in the morning. He drives about an hour and a half on a good day.
Wow.
And then he does a whole day of quite intense lab work, and then he's driving back through the traffic and comes home on a good day, if I'm lucky, before 7:30. And so for me, it's been tough just trying to create a work-life balance. And for him, it's been exhausting week by week, day by day. The consequence of having such packed weeks is the fact that weekends become an all or nothing. It's like, we've got to relax, we've got to do our chores, we've got to meet everyone, we've got to do the shopping, we've got to fix the gutters because they're broken again. It just becomes this ongoing thing. And very quickly, it became really challenging for us. We were getting on each other's nerves. And it was just one of those situations where it slowly kind of chips away at you. And I found that I needed to invite God into the situation. I think for me, it was like, I felt like it was such a practical, silly thing. It was something that I needed to deal with myself. Joe talked about an experience that felt like it was worthy of being taken to God.
Yeah.
Whereas I felt like mine was just an everyday thing that everyone else seems to manage. Why can't I? And I had this moment where I realized I, like you said, need strength from God every day. And we have the permission to go to Him for the big things and the little things, because, man, do we need it sometimes, all the time, actually. And the crazy thing is when I went to God and I said, okay, this is a situation I really should be able to handle myself, but I'm giving it to you. And I asked Him the question, what's your perspective on this, God? What are you trying to teach me through this? There was this moment of clarity where I realized, oh my goodness, God's teaching me to be independent, which is weird. But for me, I've been always such a dependent person. And so much of my relationship with Ari is him being present, him being home, him doing everything was slowly revolving around him. And I had shifted the focus off God. And it's been an amazing process since uttering that prayer, finding strength in God, asking Him for His perspective, because honestly, I think if anyone else stepped in and said, hey, you're kind of making your husband the center of your world, I wouldn't have listened. But having that moment of a God perspective changed everything for me, and that's what I love about this verse. But those who hope in the Lord will renew their strength. They will soar on wings like eagles. They will run and not grow weary. They will walk and not be faint. As we wrap up today's conversation, MJ, do you have any thoughts or encouragement for anyone who's really connected with this topic?
Yeah, I think Matthew 10 talks about a number of different things, but one of the things in that Bible verse is this reflection around if God even cares in these little moments, and it's contrasted to a sparrow, then how much more are you who is created in His image does He care for you? And that's unpacked in a number of different scenarios, but it's that great reminder for us, as you've shared, that, man, even in these little things that I think I won't bother God with, that, you know what? No, God can deal with salvation. He can deal with big sin forgiveness. He can do with big physical or mental health healing. He can do with the big stuff, but I'm feeling a little bit burdened about a relationship, or challenged in connection with someone, or fatigued in day-to-day stuff. I got this one, Jesus. It's that great reminder that God cares so deeply about us because we are his children. We are made in his image. He loves us so much. He sent Jesus to die upon the cross in our place for our sins so that through him we could know him. That is the ultimate moment where you go, if God cares about the little, then I can come to him with the little too.
But those who hope in the Lord will renew their strength. They will soar on wings like eagles. They will run and not grow weary. They will walk and not be faint. I'm not sure what's wearing you down. I'm not sure what's causing you to feel weak, whether it's a big, sudden, huge thing that's erupted in your life, or whether it's something that's been chipping away at you over time and you feel like it's not big enough to take to God. I hope that today's conversation encourages you to trust in him, to go to him for his strength, but to also be bold enough and brave enough to seek God's perspective. In the original episode that we unpack, episode number 1, Jo shared honestly about the struggles her daughter faces and how she has to often look at the situation through God's eyes. In today's episode, I shared how my own experience caused me to look at the situation differently. And I do wonder what that could look like for you with whatever you are facing. What could be God's perspective on the situation you're facing today? That wraps up today's episode on the Everyday Joy podcast. We're going to be deep diving into another powerful moment from the top 50 episodes on the Everyday Joy podcast tomorrow. I look forward to catching up with you then.